Orlando, my sacred lover and forever friend. I long for you always, even the days you get under my skin. I want and need you close. My body finds healing energy, a safe space with you. Often I feel the love I've longed for and fantasized with the love I'm currently experiencing. You let me know just how real my thought and wounds are because I've jumped for you for for a very long time. I love you.
Oh, that's beautiful, man.
Mila wrote me a letter.
Oh,
I should be making my day. Yeah.
I'm proud of you, man.
Proud of what?
Just ba- just based on this letter, the couples therapist can sense and can picture how amazing, how much of a healthy, loving space that you have created so that she can feel loved and appreciated and all of those good things.
Yeah, it's been quite a cool time. We realized that when even when we argue, we're always in like such a rush. Not a rush like we're hurrying to get past like talking about our issues, but we're in such a rush to get back to things being good because we know how good it feels when things are good. So it's
Yeah.
kind of like, all right. Come on, come on, come on. We're better, right? We're good. I love you. You love me. Cool, cool. All right, good. We're good again. All right, let's have sex.
Nice. You had posted a tweet about a few weeks ago, where you said, "I ate pussy so good today that
I'm
it."
not 4 years in my relationship.
Hold on, can you repeat that again?
I ate pussy so good today. I think I added some years to my relationship.
Like, how you come up with that?
You think of a compliment and then you make it hyperbolic. Honestly, it's just it.
So,
Because
where did your sexual powers come out of?
um, where did my sexual powers come out? That's a good point. Where does my sexual powers come from? You be asking some questions. I think I don't know. If I were to assume, I think it's, hearing women, like women or girls have disappointing stories about around sex. Realizing that I am, I guess, a sexual being in myself. Like I feel like I have the tools to be sexually pleasing. So I have like good intention. I have care. I have uh, uh, I'm attentive when it comes to like sex and all of these things. So mixed with me hearing stories of women not having good sexual experience and wanting to be the one that's so different to do the better thing. I guess that's what drives me to be this sexual person.
Did you ever become addicted to sex?
You know, thing about addiction is, I don't think I've ever realized when I'm actually addicted.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've taken a sexual addiction test, right? And it says that as a, all right,
Hold on, pause. What made you want to go take a sexual addiction test?
honestly is because I realized that if I don't masturbate within like a few days to a week, I start getting headaches and my mood changes and I start getting like very irritable. And I didn't realize it until I didn't masturbate for a week and I was irritable. Then as soon as I masturbated, I felt so much better. Like my whole week was better. And I was like, there's gotta be something happening here why me just jerking my dick makes me feel a lot better after having a terrible week, in my opinion. Right. So then I did it again. I waited like on purpose this time just to see like how my mood would be and just paying attention to how I react for a week. And I masturbated and I felt a lot better. So it prompted me to make me want to talk to a friend about it, and then that prompted me to take a sexual addiction test. And I was taking one of the not one of I would take a few of those, the ones that are online, and all of them told me that yeah, you pretty much got a little addiction there.
Mild addiction, a severe addiction.
I don't. It's not severe. Like I'm itching, scratching my neck, and I need to fuck the next person. But if I don't have some type of sexual interaction, then my mood and my I guess brain chemistry will be affected, and I definitely 100% start getting headaches like after a few days.
Throughout your masturbation periods, would you use pornography or would you use your memories or imagination?
Both. I like my memories. Using my memories is like a slow burn.
Just get you going, but
yeah, it's like I think like the porn is like a quickie. Using my imagination is slow burn, but I do both. I've been told that I'm weird for using my imagination.
But how long would it take you to find the proper porn?
It's not really a proper porn. It's more so like what I'm into that day.
Correct.
So I can just literally search whatever category, and I don't need one specific one. I just need it to cover whatever I'm feeling for the day. So I actually watch like compilations because I like seeing different sceneries over again.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. So during that time where you were experiencing, when your sexual addiction was at its peak, how much pornography were you consuming?
I don't know if my addiction was at its peak, but I can't say that because I don't know when it peaked and when it was down. But I'll say that like for the most I've ever masturbated in a week, I was going like maybe 3 or 4 times a day.
3 or 4 times a day?
Yeah.
For how long?
I did that maybe for like 4 days to a week before.
A week of masturbating 3 or 4 times. Jesus.
Yeah. Running through porn, like looking up, and so when I am into a certain type of porn, I'll watch that for like a week or two. So it's like I'm finding new porn or like rerunning new scenes, or I'm watching like different scenes from the same one, and I'm getting off to that. So I'll be stuck in a like porno phase or porno like space where I only watch like one certain type, and then I'll just like go at it, and I'll just be it'll be like, all right, before I need to leave the house, let me get one off, right? All right, I still haven't left yet. I'm a little late. All right, let me get one off before I get there. Who's gonna be there today? All right, let me try and see if I get one off. And when I come back, it's like, finally home. Get it again. Like it's kind of like a smoke break. Like my day was catered around like, all right, where can I implement some type of like sex or masturbation?
Yeah, that is the definition of an addiction, sir.
Well, there you
go. So research shows when you consume a lot of pornography, at some point, what the type of porn that you started watching no longer does it for you. Was there any point during your sexual lifespan where you started to engage with pornography to some degree that did not match your value system or your morals?
Define morals and value.
That is up to you, buddy. That is up to you.
Is it morals is like, oh, I wouldn't do this, but I'm watching this?
Yeah, something that you wouldn't, something that more than likely that you wouldn't partake in real life, but you just found that it led to a better climaxing for you.
That started when I was a teenager, but what you're talking about, that feeling is what kind of does it for me sometimes, is the fact that I wouldn't do it.
Really?
Yeah, I've like chose porn. The only porn I could never get into is gay man porn. I'll just be look, nah, I can't just do that. It's like I don't get it. I personally don't get it. It's not for me. I don't feel for it. But just about not just that sounds kind of crazy. Just about every porn gets now. That sounds. But I've watched porn and I've realized that when I start looking up any type of situation where I may never be in, or I'll actually never be in, the
Such
fact that I'm
as,
in it turns me on.
such as if you would like to share.
Like what kind of porn?
Yeah,
Like husband and wife in orgy.
got you.
I was watch something like that when I was like 18, 17. And it would be like, why would I ever, at a 17-year-old, be married and think that, oh yeah, me and my wife are gonna get it in the story? It's crazy.
Yeah. So what's actually interesting is that with heterosexual men, um, if they're an avid porn watcher for a number of years, eventually they tend to engage in pornography that conflict with their identity of their sexuality. So it's very common for a heterosexual male to start consuming gay pornography because,
Really?
yeah, because the regular porn that they have been watching, their brain is so used to that dopamine that it doesn't create a great climax. So they need another hit of a dopamine that's different, right?
Yeah.
So think of the crack system, right? You keep chasing that first high.
Hmm.
Eventually, you just want to add more and add more, trying to capture that first high. It's the same thing with pornography.
You know, the thing about this is, so when you said it, I never thought to like, I always thought getting more extreme in what I like is like venturing back to like the morals and values, right? I never thought like, okay, this coke is hitting right now. I need that first hit of this coke. Let me go try heroin. Like I wasn't thinking like that.
No, sir. That's the
No,
point rewiring your brain.
yeah. Oh, well, that's not, I never would have thought that it would be I can't get that first hit of the first porn of like maybe pictures of a man and a woman getting in, and now it advanced to like gay porn.
Yeah.
But I don't see that direction only because I've never been interested in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like I never thought it would like men waver and go like towards that direction.
Yeah. And an extension of that could be consensual force porn, right? Or even to some degree BDSM, right? Those can all be the escalation of you chasing that dopamine effect.
Yeah.
Now, just to go back to your addiction, so you're in a space where you're experiencing, I think from what you described, it was much more of a mild addiction. It's not like you were staying home and not being social because you needed to watch porn and jerk off, or where you're not going to work or anything like that. So we're gonna categorize that as mild.
I mean, that's
Yes.
happened before. It's not happened like in a I haven't done it like I haven't stayed a whole week home from work, but I've stayed like a day. Where I'm like, yeah, I'll just chill out
I, I,
today.
I have clients that have lost their jobs because of pornography.
Yeah,
Especially during COVID when you're working from home. So you're in the basement all by yourself. You got two computer desktops getting to
yeah,
work. So,
yeah.
right. So,
Did that happen? Yeah. Hmm.
so with all of that, how did that translate to partnered sex for you? Were you still able to perform to your desires? Were you experiencing any forms of early climax or ED?
No, the that's the crazy part because I'll always be up, always up and ready to go. Um, But I did start to realize that even after I would have sex, I would go masturbate like right after. Well, I would be sitting there waiting for the person to leave just so I can go masturbate right after. And sometimes I'll masturbate to the thought of me and that person just having sex, or I'll just like go watch porn. Most more times than none is me masturbating to the thought of me and the person that I just had sex with.
Which one would you enjoy more?
The
Or
thought of
some masturbation?
the thought of me and the person I just had sex with.
Some masturbation.
Yeah, it's like I'm masturbating to
Just having sex.
just had yeah.
Was there a difference between the using the thoughts and the actual partnered sex? Because I'm thinking within the thoughts you can romanticize it more.
Yeah, I literally could do whatever I want more. It's kind of like just it's it's kind of crazy, but it's like acting in the movie and then going and writing the script right after of what just happened in my head. So it's like I'm writing the script, I'm directing and acting in my own movie when I go through my imagination.
You're a different dude, huh?
Oh, that's not even the end of it. I've also masturbated to me masturbating.
Hold up, what? Time out.
I wanted to see how far it can go.
What did you say?
I've recorded myself masturbating, like watching porn and masturbating, and then watched myself masturbating. I was like, I look good doing masturbating. Yeah.
Oh man, no,
That's as self-gay as it gets.
that is a thorough assessment of oneself.
Yeah, they call me crazy. But yeah, nah, I've done it. It's actually a pretty like it's an exhilarating self-confidence boost. But knowing that like I had a like moderate addiction to like masturbating and like sex, it's just kind of an interesting dynamic to like watch yourself masturbating and go, yeah, I'm turned on by this. I like this. I like what I'm doing to myself.
I can feel the emotions from here.
Yeah.
Got it.
It's a very deep connection to yourself, and then sexual energy is already very powerful and strong. So then when you're it's like recycling the pleasure back into yourself instead of getting off to other people and finding the codependency sexually in other people, which we do in porn. I've found that codependency within myself, which obviously goes back into the personality trait of what we've been doing here in these therapy sessions.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Homework for myself. Masturbate, then watch myself masturbate.
And see how it makes you feel. You know, people feel uncomfortable watching themselves masturbate.
I could imagine. It's like standing naked in front of mirror and paying attention to what you refer to as your flaws and working through that. But you just took that to a whole other level.
As I usually do.
It's on brand for Orlando.
Yeah.
How did you win yourself from the sex addiction or the codependency of pornography? Would you even label it as a codependency?
For myself?
Yeah.
No, because I have my imagination.
There you go. Okay. So how did you win yourself off that addiction?
Read myself off.
Did you win yourself off the addiction?
Once I found out, I just shrugged my shoulder. I was like, nobody's complaining. I mean, I had to realizing it helped me know that, all right, you know, maybe I just need to get one off, and knowing that if I'm irritable or my attitude is going a certain direction, maybe I just need to get one off, and just acknowledging and knowing that and knowing like what's the remedy helps. But other than that, I didn't find any need to get any help for it. Yeah.
What is your viewpoint on semen retention? Let's go.
Quickly in my thought, I think it's stupid, but I see, like, I think it's been explained to me the benefits of it, and when it's explained to me, like, I understand, I just can't re-explain and understand, like, the benefits of it. Um, I, I understand, I guess semen tension is good for, like, what, discipline and shit like that?
Allegedly, I wouldn't know.
Whatever. I think that the intention behind the ceremony of semen retention is the attention, yeah, behind the ceremony of semen retention is more helpful than fucking holding your cum in itself. That's just my opinion. I'm not holding in my cum for nothing. I don't find a reason. I don't feel like I'm doing anything where I need to hold my nut inside my body.
Good point. Um, I had a question in mind. It just escaped me. What was the question? Yeah. Have you ever experienced blue balls?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I remember I had a
Spicy.
UTI one time and I thought it was blue ball. That shit was hilarious. And that's one of the times where masturbation didn't help me out because I thought I had blue ball. No, I thought I had blue balls and I had a UTI. So I'm like, let me go masturbate and it'll make me feel better. Right? And that didn't work. So I said, let me go masturbate again. And that made it even worse because now I have semen in my urinary tract mixed with the UTI. Yeah, that shit burnt like a motherfucker.
I'm assuming you went to the doctor for that.
I went to the doctor, yes.
Yeah, I've had so my relationship with masturbation has been an interesting one. Early on during my teens, I always identified masturbation to those that couldn't get laid. Right.
Same.
Yeah. So throughout that whole phase, I was like, I'm not going to masturbate because I can't get laid. But then eventually I experienced blue balls, man, and I couldn't walk, I couldn't sit. That thing was hurting. I didn't know what it was. So I went against my promise to myself and I started masturbating.
You went against God.
And it was an amazing experience. That's just my whole trajectory with sex. Because now I'm like, oh, I can, in my personal time, I can actually strengthen my sexual capabilities through masturbation. Whether that's getting used to the sensation, that's understanding when my climax is happening, how to delay it, how to reinforce it, how to take a step back in terms of edging. So this whole time I felt like I lost 5 years of being a better performer because I was not masturbating.
Yep. And masturbation definitely helps you be a better sexual partner because that's a good time for you to start kegling when you masturbate. It'll give you harder erections, stronger ejaculations, and you're able to like get back up quicker after you've already come. And then you get that from kegling. So if you kegel while masturbating, masturbating is just a simulation of sex, right? A simulation of sex. So essentially, if you're kegling while simulating sex, when you get to the point of having sex, you're already going to have a stronger erection and all those other things I just mentioned.
Okay.
That's why kegling is so important.
So can you walk the audience right now through the steps of kegling while masturbating?
You just kegel, like when you fucking hold your butt cheeks, close your butthole or whatever you gotta do that makes you feel like you're kegling, close and hold. And that's the workout. It's not pulsating, it's closing and holding and then doing a sexual act while holding that. It's kind of like running while doing doing bicep curls or holding it up. Like you have to hold that, and that's what strengthens the your Kegel muscle. That's what strengthens your erections. Okay. But so it's like you go hold, and then you start your masturbation, and then as you're masturbating, you're gonna like loosen a little by little because it's not that easy to do. But you keep practicing, going a little bit like longer, as you're masturbating, a little bit longer in your Kegels as you're masturbating, and eventually it gets stronger. It's like a workout, honestly.
Have you ever abstained from pornography?
Yeah.
For how long?
It was a long time ago. I can't even remember, but it wasn't that long. It's probably like a few days.
That's what you refer to as abstinence, a few days.
As long as I haven't done it, I've not had sex for a few months, but not watching porn or not masturbating. No, that's a dub. That's not happening.
So you went through a dry spell, Orlando?
On purpose.
I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
Did anybody try to tempt you?
I'm always tempted. It's just life is a walking temptation for me. I just have discipline.
Why did you choose to abstain?
Boredom.
I'm sorry?
Boredom.
You were bored of having sex.
Yeah.
You was having that much sex that you got bored of having sex.
I was having enough sex to get bored.
So you needed to kind of reset.
I needed to do something different, which was not sex. I'm being honest. Like I just got bored. I was like, I'm tired of having sex. Like this is boring. But I was also having I wasn't having sexual experiences at the time that I felt were pleasing enough to me, or at a certain level. And it made me think for a good part of my 20s if I'm ever gonna find someone that's like sexually compatible, and I assume that I would have to sacrifice a certain level of like sexual compatibility just because my shit is like so abysmally crazy in order to like be with somebody for the rest of my life. Luckily that didn't have to happen, but that's like a thought I had for a while, and one of the reasons why I just decided to like stop having sex, because I just got bored. I didn't think anybody was at my sexual level or sexual pleasure level, and I felt like everybody, the women I was having sex with, was getting more out of it than I was. So I was like, I'm just gonna stop for a while.
Good point. Good point. You also had an OnlyFans. Still do.
Good time. I still do, yeah.
Do you still produce content for OnlyFans?
Yes. From time to time. I do. I'll make like personal videos also, but OnlyFans is a different case. OnlyFans is not a space I went into because I needed a new sexual space. It was just, oh, this is just very fitting. It's fun. I enjoy it. It's not too taxing on my day, and I can do it, and I can do it good. So I just did it. But then somebody called me about that. He was like, "How's it? How's that lifestyle?" I'm like, "I know that you switched like to that kind of job field," and I was like, "No, I didn't." OnlyFans and porn has never been a career path. I just enjoyed doing it. It's just fun.
Were you a top performer at any point?
I mean, I don't know what defines a top performer, but I think I was doing really well.
How much you made off OnlyFans, man?
Won't disclose.
Above 10K or less?
In what in totality?
Yeah.
Well, I made more than 10K.
So why'd you stop? Got bored? Like work? You already conquered that?
Well, I stopped because I didn't have the time to, well, I mean, this was like around when I started therapy also. So I didn't have the time to give myself to other people when I needed to give myself to myself. I had to like make time for myself and other people.
Gotcha. No, at some point I actually thought you were a porn star.
I mean, I'm a star in somebody's eyes.
Okay. Oh man. So now that you're in a healthy, long-lasting relationship that's full of love, have you found your match?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go into more details about that because that's your private life. I don't want to know.
Yeah, I found my partner, literally my sexual. I found my sexual partner because there's times where we look at each other like we couldn't be with anybody else. Like who else is having sex like this?
Would you still say? Would you say that you're still addicted?
Yeah.
Does it feel like an addiction though?
No.
It was natural.
It feels like I'm more so addicted to having sex with the person I'm having sex with, not just doing something sexual. So now that this person is here, I'll masturbate less. Like since I'm with my person, I don't necessarily feel the need to masturbate as much as I did, but it's kind of like one sex equals like 3 masturbations for me. So if I get like one person sex or one sex with my person out the way, then all right, I don't really even need to masturbate today. But if we ain't have sex, it's like I got that itch. I need to touch myself. But it's been interesting realizing that I'm a sexual addict and how I'm supposed to maneuver in that space of like sex addiction. Because then I got worried and started thinking, well, am I gonna have a problem in the future? Is this going to elevate towards like another level where it might be dangerous? Mm-hmm. But it just never got there.
Good point. And also, like, you've kind of built a life around sex until now.
Yeah.
You're doing play parties. You are you birthed a sex podcast. Most of your content was about sex.
Yeah.
Now you've shifted to more relationship-based content, more holistic and energy-based types of content and experiences.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that shit was easy because sex isn't like one of the main things for me. It's just honestly easy to talk to and indulge in because it's hard for other people to talk about. That's the only reason why it's easy to talk about sex. I don't mind it.
That is so true though. So how'd you overcome the fear, the shame, the taboo-ness of talking about sex? So
I'm a shy person. So
you're a shy person?
Yeah, the people don't realize it. Me being introvert? Yeah. I'm an introvert, extrovert, but me being extrovert-ish isn't necessarily me. It took a lot to overcome for me to be like, hey, but it's easier to do when I talk about sex because if I'm uncomfortable, what makes me comfortable is if everybody's uncomfortable too. And what makes everybody uncomfortable every single time is talking about sex.
Oh my God.
So it just makes it easy. Sex and death are 2 things that make people uncomfortable. So it makes me comfortable in that space. And so sex and death.
True.
Yeah. So when I bring it up and I'm just casually having conversation and I can see the men in the room like, nah, or the women in the room like, or actually women get more comfortable. So that makes me a bit more comfortable. When I see a certain amount of people uncomfortable, I go, this feels better.
How do you navigate talking about sex around women or to women and not coming across as being a creep or an oppressor?
I talk about the things that's beneficial to them or things that they like.
Like what, man? Educate me.
Oral sex.
What is your sex tip? Your go-to sex tip?
On oral sex? Pull the head back and treat the clit like it's your balls. Pull the hood back, pull the head back. Pull the hood over the clit back and then treat the clit like it's your balls with that much like gentle touch.
No, I've never heard that, but it makes every sense in the world.
You're welcome. That's one sex tip. Also, I guess if you're licking and fingering, putting pressure on the top of if she's laying on her back, you go in putting pressure on the G-spot while you're licking. She's already going to be moving and twitching and everything like that. So literally all you got to do is lick very lightly while putting pressure on that G spot, and all the little movements and stuff like that that she does is gonna feel like the movements are greater because everything is just like so closely together. So you really don't have to do as much as you think you have to when it comes to oral sex.
When is your documentary or your biopic dropping?
When somebody realizes that I be spitting heat.
Well, you could do that yourself. You're a creator. You record, you edit. You have every skill set to do just that.
Yeah, I just don't have time. That's the one thing I can't control. You know how irritating that is for me?
Tell me about it.
Two things that like my daily irritants is realizing that I can't control time and I can't fly.
Hmm.
So fucking unfair.
Explain that. I know what you mean, but to our audience, explain that.
Wait, which one, the time or the flying?
Both.
Time. I feel like there is so much I can do and so much I want to do, and that shit is limited by the amount of like lifetime that I have on this earth. And that shit is frustrating because when you sit there and think about how much you're willing to work and put in to get a certain thing done, and the only thing that's like really a resistance for you is time, that shit is frustrating. That nothing else is stopping me but something that I can't control. But it's the out of control power that's like very, very aggravating when you know you have good intention.
Yeah, good point. And fly.
Flying, I just don't like feeling limited. It's just there's all this fucking space. I can't get to it. I was like, what the fuck is the point? But in our perfection, I believe that's the reason why we can't fly. Because we're literally in the midpoint of all the space, all the air, all the air that you can like fly, that birds can fly in, and all the space within the ocean. We're literally at the perfect midpoint of both. So within our perfection, our limitations are flight and depth. Pretty upsetting.
It still amazes me how you come to these true conclusions and observations that most people don't even think about until they read a particular book. Like for you to be able to say, as humans, we occupy the midpoint, which is true, but I don't think we've ever made that observation and realized that.
That's why being at a beach feels so good. You're at the midpoint. You're at the midpoint between earth and water. That's the literal midpoint. Air, earth, and water. You're at the midpoint of all three.
And okay, does the same apply to hiking?
Well, hiking just gets you higher to a higher elevation, so it makes you feel higher.
Yeah, like midpoint from earth to the sky, to some degree.
Yeah. So that's what I was saying. You feel heightened. You go to the jungle, you feel more grounded. You go to the water, you feel like more malleable. Like you get different feels when you're in different spaces. Like if you, I've read something recently where, Kenny Smith, the sports analyst, he was saying he was on a plane with somebody and they told him don't go to sleep on the plane. The higher elevation makes you think better. It makes you more creative. I mean, that's what he said, that it worked out for him. He got so much done. He wrote like chapters in a book and everything. But if we're thinking about like in a higher elevation, then you get to your mind, right? If you think about when you're in the jungle and you're grounded, you feel more centered. You start getting lower. And then when you're just in water, I just feel like you feel like you're more malleable, like you can expand more, you can do more things. It's just how you view your elements around you and how they affect the connection and the effect that they have on your body. But we don't really give a fuck. People really don't give a fuck, so it doesn't really matter.
Wow, that's powerful. I didn't know that, but it makes every sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I mean, we're parts of this earth. We're parts of the air, parts of the earth, parts of the water. So how our body is affected by all these things is real. And whether we recognize it or like, you know, we don't believe shit because we can't see it, but what the fuck ever. Whether we recognize it or not, the shit is real. So it's up to you to just recognize it and see how it plays on your body and if it affects and helps you. But you know, we're visual creatures, so we'll see how that goes for people.
Were you writing a book?
No.
Why not?
I don't know how to structure a book together to make it sellable for people to hear, people to read.
A documentary, maybe?
You got a team that's willing to do everything. A documentary isn't like set up a camera and talk. Like a documentary has so much fucking journalism behind it.
Good point. I know. I think a part of me just continues to realize how powerful you are, how aware, how your consciousness is to a higher degree, a higher tier, that I think that your thoughts, your wisdom, your observation needs to be captured, because I think it will still be impactful years later or centuries later. Like those things will live on even if you continue to stop living in this physical space.
So I've been told. So I have been told.
Yeah, I want to ask this question, but I'm sorry for the wording though, right?
Okay.
Why haven't you taken a shot on yourself yet?
Who says I'm not? I've taken a shot on myself.
And that's why I said I'm sorry for the wording, right? Because I know that you're doing projects and you've done things and etc. But in terms of like you just alone, that investment, that you being the focus solely.
So what? Making a documentary, or reading the book is not,
whatever that might be.
But that focus is not on me. Making a documentary isn't for me. Writing a book isn't for me. That's for everybody else.
So when I say a shot on yourself, I am speaking in terms of capturing everything about you for others to experience.
That's for everybody to take a shot on me.
In time?
Yeah. My goals aren't everyone. Like that's dependency. Like that's living for other people. Like if I'm making a documentary so everybody else can see, if I'm writing a book for everybody else to read, it doesn't do anything for me. That's for everyone else. That's literally the opposite of what we're doing right now. Okay. So if I'm gonna say like, you know what my goals are, then my goal is like to be a grandfather. Like my goal was to better myself so I could find the person for me. That took a shot at myself. And when no matter what anybody said, I stuck to who I was, because the person that was meant for me was gonna be for only me.
Amen to that.
Like I don't have a goal of becoming a father. My goal is to be a grandfather. That's for me.
Yeah. I get that.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, I would love to, but that's not for me to decide. It's not for me to decide that my words or speech is meant for everybody. That's for everybody else to decide.
You're so marketable.
Yes, that's also
in
true.
Every sense of the word.
That is also.
I can see you fit here, fit here, fit here, fit here, fit here. So the idea of having a team just around you to just, I'm using the word promote you, but to increase your visibility would be very interesting.
I believe you.
Of course you
do. I believe you. I think you're telling the truth. So yeah, that's how
if I had the funds, I swear to God, I would hire a camera team to just follow you around and just ask you random questions and just capture your takes.
Good idea. That is a good idea. All right. This was fun. Great
It
talking
was a
about my
pleasure.
technical fiction.
Yes, sir. I'm glad that you're doing better nowadays.
You got any takeaways from this?
Um, the main takeaway that I got from this is to be aware, right? Because I think one of the first thing that you did was went and take a sex addiction assessment to kind of redefine whether or not that's what you were experiencing. And the second thing that you mentioned not too long ago is being yourself, because you know for a fact that the person that is meant for you will accept you wholesome.
Yeah.
And I think that was very, very impactful and very true.
Yeah. Thank you.
What
My
about you?
takeaway from this is semen retention is about discipline, not holding your count.
You're gonna have a whole community coming after you.
All right. Wait. Call them the ball busters.
Oh man. All right, but it was a pleasure, man.
Later.
Bye.